EKN 299, almost 300 with Kyle and Private Taylor. How are things?
It's Flight Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Flight Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Taylor, you had more hair when I exited your stream.
Yes. So everybody, I did basically, I was going to cut my hair with the only clippers I had at the house, but they were the dog clippers, and I didn't want to get lice or anything, or fleas or whatever they have, if they had them. It was illogical of me because they don't have those things. But I told my girlfriend, because she was out and about, I'm like, hey, pick me up some clippers because I'm going to cut my hair on stream. And she's like, okay. And she brought me back. It's still on the floor here. It's just a Remington beard trimmer.
Oh, no.
Wait, she
That
picked
doesn't
those
even
up? She got those special for the task? I thought you had
my
them
God.
around.
No, I told her, get me some clippers, and she brought back a beard trimmer. And I told her before, I'm like, you bitch, what the fuck?
You need alternating current to do that sort of thing.
Really? And see, the problem with this is there's no level. Like, it doesn't have a number 1 and number 2. It just has millimeter lengths. And this is not a very expensive one. And so as I was trying to set it, it would slip into different settings. And so at one point, like, my hair side of my head wasn't that long. Because the goal wasn't to shave my head. I'm like, I'm gonna give myself a really good haircut. And it started out not great, but it got worse. And so I went all around my head, and I was like pretty pleased with the sides. And then I was going over, and they weren't bad. And then I started going over the sides again to try and get stragglers, and it slipped into a lower setting. And so I had to go over the entire thing again. And the back of my head was terrible. Still is. I purposefully haven't done anything. Oh, I did take clippers that I found under my sink that had only a number 4 thing. So I just went over my entire head with a number 4 to get all the stragglers off, even though the rest of it's much shorter than the 4. But yeah, at one point, Kyle, I was feeling ballsy. And so I was like, I'm going to tighten up my neckline. And so I took the guard off and just blindly started doing that. And I purposely haven't had my girlfriend touch up the back other than what I did. You can see a big old divot that I took out.
Oh, shit. You know, Taylor, you're gonna have to be a lot more careful about some of the racially insensitive jokes you make on the show. Wow.
See, then, well, you're right. I didn't consider that angle. Okay. So
but that haircut is costing you 20-30% of your jokes.
Oh shit. Fuck. Well, I have to let it grow out. But I had the hair on top long for a while, and I was doing like pulling with my fingers and snipping, almost cut my knuckle skin off 15 times, because it's very difficult to do in a webcam on Twitch when a bunch of people are calling you fat and ugly and fat head and all that. Overall, though, one of my biggest streams in a while. Very, very good reception. I had like 1,000 people in there at one point watching me make an ass of myself. And there's a very good clip over on Woody's channel that I would like us to watch, because it's just, Woody's unbelievably just loving it laugh. I'll link it.
Link it up.
Yeah. And you can see how bad my hair was. This is mid haircut. This is mid. So
oh God.
All
Okay,
right.
I'm there.
Hold on. I need a moment to like queue up and frame it and set.
It wasn't going that bad. It ended up, I think I look fine here too. I look like a military man. Hairline's definitely not as good as it was last time I had my hair this short. But that's okay.
All right. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Ready, set, play.
It looks good like that.
It's the side.
You should have stayed right there.
Right there, you think so?
It was killing me, man. You had to watch it unfold. It was a great stream.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Taylor Merker on Twitch for any of you bastards who aren't hanging out yet.
I think you should have left it like that, just like trimmed it on the sides and giving yourself something to do with the top.
I cut off.
Woulda,
I
coulda,
thought
shoulda.
that he was just, a little girlfriend love on the back away from having a decent haircut. I was like, all right, the back is messed up. But when I left, the top was long enough to do something with, and the sides were kind of straight. The back was longer than the sides, which was hilarious. He had this like really wide Chuck Liddell mohawk thing happening. and it was funny. But
well, like I woke up the next morning and went in there in the bathroom, and I just started laughing at myself because I went way too high on the sides, and so there was just a muffin top of hair sitting atop my head like a reverse fryer cut.
That was great because like he did a really good job like doing the sides, and it kind of faded into the top. And then he just kept going and going and going. And there's this technique, I guess everyone's watched the same YouTube video, where you kind of like shave the sides and roll off the top. And that's how you do a fade. You roll off. And he's just like sometimes he's rolling, but all you have to do is not roll a couple of times, and all your rolling is gone. You can't put it back on. And he's like, I'm rolling. And I'm like, you're not.
No.
You stopped rolling.
No, I wasn't. Well, the big mistake was taking advice from the chat. And so when they would say just a little more off the top, I'd be like, all right, I guess. I didn't think through. I have spray bottles in my kitchen that I was like, I'm gonna fill that with water so I can spritz myself a little bit. I'm gonna get a hair dryer. And in the end, all I had was just a glass full of water that I would lean over and dump on my head to get it a little bit wet.
You're like, all right, I need to get my hair wet to manage it. And I'm picturing the spray bottle like every barber I've ever seen has done. Pours a glass of water on his hand.
I wanted my hair real wet,
though. Yeah.
See, that's what it is. It's a content engine. That's what I'm doing now.
My chat sometimes accused me of stealing your viewers, but that wasn't in my heart at all. I thought that it was a bigger event. Okay. I was like, I hope Taylor doesn't have the same thought as these social media newbies who don't understand that it's a bigger event. Like you took over 2 categories with that stream nearly.
Yeah, no, I did not give a shit at all. It was funny. People were like, check out Woody's stream, check out Woody's. And I didn't click on it for the longest time. And I click over on Woody's stream and I just see my fat head and Woody laughing at me.
Taylor couldn't see his back because the delay wasn't long enough. I'm like, watch me, watch you. You'll get like 6 seconds. You can see your back. But
I had somebody tell me like, if you turn around real quick, you'll be fast enough to see it. And so I was like,
it would have worked.
Twitch is a ton of fun. I'm having a blast on there.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play some. I'd never played Grand Theft Auto 5 in my life, and it's still. That came out in 2013, and it's like the 3rd biggest game on Twitch right now. That's unbelievable. And so I downloaded that to play the story mode because everybody's saying it's just a blast. Have you played?
Yeah, they keep updating it, and the online multiplayer is very popular.
Kyle, is your mic in the best spot? I feel like you're quieter than normal, and I've got you cranked up.
I could do some adjusting. I could turn my gain up, maybe.
Yeah, would you?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's
8.
better. Yeah.
You sure? You're happy with this? Not too
much?
I am.
Well, I'll tell you if I change my mind.
All right, I got a feeling in the recording I'm going to be booming.
Oh no, I don't think so. No, you were quiet.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Sorry about that disruptive flow.
Excuse me.
I PayPal'd you your $5. Did I send it to the right PayPal?
I don't know. What did you send it?
It's like Matt. What? I don't want to.
Yeah, that's one of them. Matt Dot. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's one of them. Thank you.
Wouldn't want anyone else sending any money. Better keep it on the down low.
Right. I don't think those are secrets.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I try to protect privacy things.
I try.
But yeah, that was I don't think any of those fights the other night went the way I wanted them to go. Michelle Watterson lost. Cowboy lost. Like every great event. Oh, I mean, Ngannou killed that man. That man's dead now. So I was happy to see that. But I don't think any of the fights went the way I actually wanted them to, other than the Ngannou fight. But I don't really care if Ngannou wins. I just like to see him smash people.
What was the big fight you guys were wagering on?
Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje.
I'll pull up a highlight so I know.
Yeah.
Well, it's 25 minutes of highlight.
Oh. Who won? Gaethje?
Justin Gaethje won. Both American dudes. Tony Ferguson, you might remember, he's the one who's literally crazy, clawing at the walls to get at the voices and stuff. Watching them fight, I like them both a lot. Gaethje swings for the fences. Ferguson does all this creative elbow weirdness stuff. He does moves that are out of movies and things, sweeping the leg, and they're both very fun guys to watch.
He did Bruce Lee and Karate Kid moves.
He literally pretended to pick up sand and throw it at Justin Gaethje during the fight.
Sand.
And the coaches called for it. They're like, give me sand. And he reaches down and pretends to throw sand at him.
Give him a gribble.
I'm like, your coaches are insane too. What the fuck?
There's a YouTube video where it shows the comparison between Gaethje's coaching and Ferguson's coaching. Yeah. It's night and day.
I noticed it during the fight too. Yeah, that Gaethje's.
You're looking beautiful, Tony. You're looking beautiful. It's like, how high are you? How high are you, Eddie? Are you stoned out of your mind?
There's a
that you didn't just
defense. I'm sorry, you're still going, but so Justin Gaethje's main coach, who was giving him serious advice, was mic'd up. And then on Ferguson's side, his main coach wasn't mic'd up. Instead, Eddie Bravo, his grappling coach,
I
was
noticed
mic'd
that.
up.
Yeah, good point.
So it might be that his main coach was giving better advice than I'm aware of. I'd
like to imagine that it's even that if we'd heard Tony's coach, it would be even worse. Like he's just like, you got to center your chi. I haven't seen one Hadouken out of you. What's going on?
That's the guy in your walls. Get him, Tony.
That would have been a good one. Like you know those voices you hear? That's him. He's got your son. He just comes sprinting across the cage. Give me my son. Justin Gaethje's like, what? What?
I feel like I'm still getting to know Justin Gaethje, right? On one time, Justin Gaethje wins the interim championship of the world, right? On one hand, I meant to say. And he gets up there and he's like, just be nice to each other. Really, this fighting stuff, I'm in the cage, I'm one guy, but I'm not a fighter outside the cage. I have a degree. People don't know that. It's in social work. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be helping people. And I'm like, oh, that's really sweet. Like, I kind of like this guy. On the other hand, he's like, fuck you, Conor McGregor. I don't think you're a very good dad, and I don't think you're a very good husband. It's like, oh, shit. All right,
he's probably not making those tweets, though. The thing about, like who knows who's running everybody's Twitter accounts?
Yeah.
I know
I
could be
can't
some
tell,
PR
yes.
firm.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
GSP intention. Like he's not secretive about it at all. He's like, oh yeah, by Twitter, that's not me. That's I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was interesting. That's first fight Tony's lost in 12 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
is it 12 years or 12 fights?
I think it's both. Maybe
I'm not sure.
I thought it was
One
12
fight
years.
a
I know
year?
it
There's
goes
no way to
back.
know.
Like they're like the last time Tony Ferguson lost a fight, and then they list all these things that are like you're like, holy shit, really? It's like the last time Tony Ferguson lost a fight, women didn't even fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah, the last time he fought and lost was against Michael Johnson, May 5th, 2012.
Okay,
Okay.
8 years.
8 years. That's
8
still
years,
that's
12 fights.
It's a retarded amount of time to not
Yeah,
lose.
he looked slow. He didn't look like himself. I heard Dana say this, but I was already thinking that maybe cutting down to 155 twice in a fucking month maybe affected him.
36 though. Like, wait, how old was the other guy?
30. Oh, I don't know how old Gaethje is.
Oh, 31 versus 36. That's 5 big years
That's
for
sure.
being in combat sports.
But he didn't look as good as he looked last year. Like he didn't look like himself. He looked slow in comparison to Gaethje, who I don't think of as a lightning quick guy. Now he's definitely fast. I mean, he's a fucking professional fighter and probably on the upper end of quickness as professional fighters go. But I don't think of him as like a Bruce Lee, like hit you 3 times before you can do anything kind of guy. And that's what he was against Ferguson.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, can you go even louder? I promise you,
Yeah.
you're not over booming. No one's gonna say
Okay,
that.
let me look in my settings.
Yeah, I
real
have you
quick.
turned up in Discord. I'm on. Giving her all she's got, Scotty. What was I gonna say? Yeah. Gaethje looked fast. He hit so hard. Even his coach was like, "Hey, take off 10%. You're trying to kill him." Like that was the advice he got between rounds. And he's right though. You can exhaust yourself hitting too hard. I don't know if you got.
All right, how is this? Let me do a quick test. Testaroo here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Let's ride with this a little longer and see what we think.
Okay. I'll pull this closer as well. It's unusual. I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, you sound very loud to me.
I'm turning him a little down in Discord. I had him cranked up to 200%, but now that he's
Okay.
given me extra, I can take 10% off.
I disabled Discord's like automatic gain control
Okay.
because that seemed like a silly thing to me, and I think maybe that's what's affected like what's going on. But I turned it back on just a moment ago, so we're back to normal.
Gotcha.
But I've still got extra gain that I normally don't do. But yeah, great night of fights. I didn't feel ripped off for my $65.
I paid for it and felt good about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, looked great on the TV. Great to see sports happening again. You know, empty arena. You could hear the fighters breathing, which was really cool. You could hear the coaches. You could hear every pop, pop, pop when
You
a
could
when a
hear
blow
the
landed.
hits. And
Would you rather not go back to the old way and have it stay like this?
Personally, I would, but I know a lot of the fighters need that energy. I know Conor McGregor's like, I want a crowd like going
Didn't he
insane.
Am I
That makes
crazy or
sense.
did he say the opposite? Did he say that people would hear how hard I hit you or something like that to someone?
What I read was that he wanted a crowd,
Oh.
and I mean, Nobody
might
gets a
have
better
said
crowd
both. He
reaction than
said
him, I would
something.
say. Like when he's there, he's got all those Irish fans going crazy, singing those chants.
Yeah, the crowd makes it a little more special, and it makes me feel hyped, right? Their energy brings out my energy. It was neat as a change to have silent fights. I wouldn't be against silent fights again. That's what I'm calling a no crowd event. But there's something about these enormous crowds. Madison Square Garden going bonkers, and the when the fighters walk to the octagon, I didn't realize how much I like that. The music playing, the crowd going nuts, the high fives on the way in. Some fighters are kind of nervous and keeping to themselves. Some guys are feeding off the crowd energy. When there's no crowd, it's really just a person getting from the locker room to the octagon with no fanfare.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the other sports go without crowds. Like, I'd like to watch an NFL game with no fucking crowd and hear those hits.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that'd be cool.
Or hear like maybe you can overhear the huddle a little bit better. Maybe you can hear the quarterback giving audibles better. Like they're already mic'd up in many cases, so it's nothing I've never heard before. But I'd like to hear it on every play from both sides, and especially the big hits. I want to hear that. I want to hear them.
Crunch.
I didn't think of that, and I think
I want to hear the CTE
on basketball, which is a sport I paid more attention to lately. I think it will do poorly without a crowd. I feel like just
so
the
quiet.
squeak on the sneakers and the dribble of the ball doesn't do it for me.
That squeak is going to get annoying quickly, I would imagine.
Right.
Even playing basketball when I played in like middle school, it was like, this is an annoying sound.
Baseball's already pretty quiet.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're going to get.
Yeah, they already
extra.
do hand signals and all that instead of,
Yeah, I
They
mean,
could just yell now. Steal.
hit it as hard as you can.
They always could have yelled. It's about hiding it from the other team.
I was just being silly. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
But
sports are going to
and
be different this year.
Before we totally leave it, Ferguson versus Khabib, not likely to happen.
No.
Of course,
I mean, you
it's
can get a
not
perfect storm where it does happen. Like, if they do Khabib versus Gaethje, Khabib wins, and then they do Conor versus Tony, Tony wins. Then you get Khabib, Ferguson. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Even that. So Conor talks a big game, but he's had one fight since 2016. And I worry that with him in the mix, 155 happens slowly, right? He just doesn't fight that often. And even Khabib, I like Khabib, but he's had one fight. Well, not since 2016, but he's had one fight since Conor. And with Ramadan in there and Conor always negotiating for $10-15 million, then them needing like 3 months of media events and shit to create it, I worry that Tony's going to be 38, 39 years old before that chance rolls around.
Oh, well. Yeah. I think Khabib would have beaten Tony anyway.
I do too. I think Justin Gaethje's a rougher matchup for Khabib than Tony is.
Yeah, I think Gaethje's got the best shot against Khabib out of anyone at 155.
I know some people are done with this, but Gaethje has really good wrestling, and I feel like to defend something, you don't have to be as good at it to make it happen, right?
Yeah,
so
you can be a level 6 wrestler and defend a level 9 wrestler.
Perfect. Yeah, well said. So, and I think that Khabib's wrestling is good enough. I can't get past my hair. I think I've got the more plates, more dates hairdo cooking right here. Is it just me?
Mm-hmm. You've got the there's something about Mary hairdo.
Oh, that's something about that's a really good
I see it. Yeah.
Is that hair gel?
Oh yeah. I might just keep this going. This might be my method of staying taller than Colin. I'll just keep it going. I'll put 4, 5, and 6 inches if I
You're
need
Marge
to.
Simpson by the end.
I'll be Marge Simpson. Yeah.
You're gonna look like one of those Hunger Games people. Silly ass hair. Yeah, that's the damn. I lost my hair height. I'm gonna have to regrow that. Fuck.
You got this, Samson.
Yeah, thank you.
Get yourself a top hat. They're fashionable.
Yes.
Top hat that I can wear over my headphones. Perfect. I don't even know.
Cut some holes in it.
Yeah.
Loop it through. I've been watching 60 Days In. Man, that is a rough fucking show. I'm watching the one right now that's Fulton County, Atlanta, and that's the jail that there was a chance that I was going to be put into, and they were like, "All right, we don't know where we're putting you. It's either halfway house." I was like, "Yes, please, because you just spend the night there." and then go back home during the day and do whatever you want. I could have been here. Halfway house, Fulton County Jail, or the prison I went to. And I in order, I was like halfway house, prison, jail, in the order that I preferred them. Because as soon as we walked outside the courthouse, I was discussing this with my lawyer. I was like, can you like try to get me into that halfway house? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna do my best. I was like, what's that jail like? He's like, you don't want to go to that jail. We're gonna keep you out of that jail no matter what. I'm gonna do my damnedest to keep you out of that jail. And I'm just like, fuck. Yeah. All right. I had no idea. Really? He's like, yeah, got to keep you out. And I'm watching it right now. I'm so glad he kept me out.
Oh, really?
There's gangs in there operating. The Bloods are in there enforcing their rules. You know, it's scary in there.
I met up.
It's a rough show.
I talked with Chiz today for an hour-ish or something. And one of the things we talk about is potential guests. I'd like to get. Well, you mentioned Wes Watson. He's actually made a couple efforts to get. I think his name's Lockdown 23-1, the one that I have been watching before Wes Watson. Oh. And guests are harder to schedule than people know. Like, you know, he got in touch with him, and then they were all scheduled. Then he got like ghosted, and then the guy reached out to us, and then it just I don't know. Yeah, guests are harder to book than you might guess. But anyway, I kind of want to have one of these prison veterans on the show to hear about their experience, and that Taylor and Kyle may have their own thoughts on it, but for me it's about the social aspect of surviving, the rules, the putting in work. How do you exist outside the game? I don't want to play the game.
It depends what level you're at, and according to Wes Watson, he on like the level 2 yard you could be out of the game, but he's like in the level 4 he's like, everybody jumped off one day, and the blacks was going at the whites, and the homies were with us. And there was this old man with a cane, and he thought he could not jump. Oh, I saw another guy come up to him later. Pop, 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 pop. You not jumping in, old man? You think you're immune? And it's like, fuck. You got to get in there with that cane.
That answers the question. Yeah, here I thought that I had a shot at being aged out. Yeah, because 23-1, I don't remember if he said over 40 or over 50. They kind of let them exist outside. And I'm like, well, shit, I've got one of those, and I'm nearly the other. Maybe I could just not be a player. But
no, I think the more hardcore it is, the more all inclusive that being part of the game gets.
All right. Well, I hope we get one of them on the show.
Yeah, Wes Watson in particular. I really like his intensity. He's so fucking fired up all the time. Just so fucking. I wonder if he can maintain that intensity for more than a 15-minute video. Are we gonna be 3 hours in and he's still just like, that's bitch made shit. That's bitch made shit.
He maintained what, 20 years?
10.
I would like to have him
hold it for 4 hours.
I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. Yeah. I want to see, if people haven't seen Wes Watson videos, check one out, and you'll see 15 minutes of inspirational yelling, right? I wonder if we got him in long form. You know, maybe he's on the show for 2 hours or something. If we'd see another side of him, you know, like he can't just be yelling all the time, right? He has to laugh sometimes. People do that. He's a person.
I hope he's like Samuel L. Jackson from that Chappelle skit. This is how I talk.
We could break out some
Samuel Jackson beer.
It's good beer made by me, Samuel Jackson.
I'd like to see this guy whose entire identity seems to go around doing burpees when he doesn't want to, do some relationship advice, or am I the assholes? And see how, like, you know what? Like, I think your sister-in-law had poor manners in that situation. I don't know why she proposed at your wedding. That was your special day,
bitch. Yeah.
So I remember he had a video where he was talking about calling his girl, and a guy answered. He's been in prison for let's just call it 2 years or whatever. And he calls, and a dude answers, and he's like, "Yo, Wes, you got to stop calling, man, or there's gonna be a problem." And it's like, I told him, well, there's gonna be a problem then. In 7 years. He's like, eventually I got over it. By the time 7 more years came by, they wasn't no problem. I give them advice on their relationship now. I'm like, wow. This guy's great. He's so
I saw
fun
that
talking
one.
about
Yeah.
talking about 7-inch blades getting stuck up people's
I
asses.
saw
like,
that. I've watched a lot of this guy's content
Mhm.
now. Yeah, so they were, I think it's called turning down the cells, searching the cells. And I guess in this level of prison, everyone is more or less mandated to have some sort of shank.
Yep.
So this guy had a 7-inch shank, and the only place to hide it is your butthole. So he wasn't able to get all 7 inches up in his butthole.
Amateur.
So when they searched him, he had 2 or 3 inches of shank still sticking out of his butthole, and they saw it. And it's just like, what a crazy life you guys are living.
You pull it like you're starting a lawnmower. Oh! Yeah, it sounds super hardcore. He spent 14 months in solitary. That to me is the most awful part of the whole thing. Spending 14 months in
How do you
solitary.
not go crazy?
Yeah,
Spending even
clearly you do. Have you seen the videos?
Right?
Okay, he's gone a little crazy, but yeah.
I'm with both
Okay.
of you guys. The other part I wonder is he's the shot caller, right? He's been out of the game for 14 months down there in solitary. Did he come back and find someone else sitting on the top seat in the bleachers? How is that handled? Did they respectfully say, "Oh, I'll bend the knee and you can have your old seat back"?
Or
Does
maybe
have
he was calling shots from solitary.
Maybe.
How do you do that?
These are the
Like
questions I
talking to a
ask.
guard or a
Notes.
librarian? Notes.
Passing notes and Morse code and sign language.
Dirty guards. I think Taylor, did you say that already?
Yeah.
Sure,
yeah, like,
maybe.
what do you like? Put.
I watched the
notes in-
movie Shot Caller the other day. It was actually pretty good.
I watched.
I
that too.
scrolled past that on Netflix or Hulu, whatever it is, and I didn't watch it. Maybe I'll give that a go.
It's not
I s-
bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. That's,
Well, I'm
that's
not
how I
giving
describe
anything
it.
a go until I'm done with Sopranos.
Where are you right now?
I just finished, or no, I'm almost done with the first episode of season 5. I just finished last night the season finale of season 4.
What
While I was
happened?
working out today, I watched a little bit of the 5th one. It was Johnny Sachs and Tony discussing, hey, maybe we take out Carmine, and then they worked that thing out with the housing and urban development thing, and then Tony was like, let's not fiddle fuck around with this anymore. I'm getting what I want, and now that I've getting what I want, I don't really give a fuck what's going on in New York. And Johnny Sachs is all pissed about it. Now, in the first episode of season 5, Johnny Sachs, after Carmine has his stroke, is like, I'm not going to forget that you hung me out to dry there. And Tony's like, I didn't hang you out to dry. We had a plan because of something. And then he went back on what he was going to do. And so I stopped the plan. You're the one that wanted to kill him so you could be boss. I just wanted fucking money not taken out of my pocket. And so that's what's happening right
Okay.
now. What's his name? Adriana is still being, tapped by the FBI. She hasn't really given any good information yet, from what I can tell. More just kind of whining to that one blonde
Misinformation.
woman.
Yeah.
Either misinformation or just like, well, they're going to a seafood restaurant this evening. That's about all I can say. Like that kind of shit. And Moltisanti, he got out of rehab. I like him as a character. Oh, what just happened that I didn't like is Moltisanti didn't tip this poor, nice gentleman at a restaurant.
He was,
and then he
was
threw
tapped out.
Yeah, he was tapped out, but then he threw a brick at the back of the
You
guy's
think this
head.
is an easy job?
Yeah.
I have a family to support.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Fucking whop.
they throw like a
Oh,
bottle at the back of his head, and it like knocks him out, and he's having a seizure. And then Paulie's like, he's pretty fucked up, man. And then he just looks around, murders him, and then they run away. And then the last thing he says is like, "Fucking
That's my
Christy
money,
is like-
Paulie."
like, that's my money, Paulie. That's my fucking." Just after they murder someone, it's like, God, you're just the worst people. That poor man.
They're so that always bothers me when civilians get caught up.
Exactly.
This isn't a huge spoiler because it's a small thing, but did Chrissy bully a butcher yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was a while ago. Yeah,
Oh,
or,
so
maybe it wasn't a butcher.
It was
that was like
bakery
a
guy.
bakery where he's
Okay.
like, now put a bunch of fucking scones in the box, and the guy's like, the really fat guy comes in, and he's like,
Vito.
oh, that's Vito. He's here all the time. Come on up, Vito. And then the other guy, but Chris shoots him in the foot and then steals a bunch of pastries.
Yeah, shoots his toe off. Yeah.
Well, because he was jealous that the guy liked Vito. Is that
No, because he was
felt
like
disrespected.
Chris walked in and he was making Chris wait in line like everybody else. And then Vito walks in after Chris has been waiting like 20 minutes and finally has gotten to the front of the line. And Vito gets to cut in front of you. He was like, I've been here. He's like, Vito was already here. He's been in line. He just stepped out for a minute. Bullshit. Chris is like, all right, Vito, take a walk. Vito walks out. He flips the sign to close, pulls a fucking gun out, walks back. He's like, I ain't gonna hurt you. I ain't gonna hurt you. I just want to know, do I look like a bitch? Like what is it about me? What is it about me that you think you can talk to me? He's like asking seriously. Like he really wants to know, like, what is it about me that makes you treat me this way? Like it's such an honest like conversation. And then he's just like, all right, then bang, and shoots him in the foot.
Yeah.
See, the way he could have gotten out of that, like I was hoping the whole time for the sake of that poor baker, I was like, if you just say Vito's keeping us in business here, then he probably wouldn't have got his toe shot off. Chris probably would have made fun of the fat guy more then and been like, yeah, well, next time fucking, you know, when he dies from your fucking kaboosh rolls or whatever, like I'll be here. Like, yeah, I feel bad for the innocent
bystanders. Yeah, the civilian. Like he's like, you waited in line too long. That's a mistake any one of us could have made, and he got shot for it, and they beat up people, and it's hard just to exist around these guys because the second anything goes wrong, they beat the hell out of you.
I did like a Richie, not Richie. You were saying Ralphie was going to be worse than Richie. As far as liking characters go, I like Ralphie more than Richie. Richie was not as exciting.
Has Ralphie beaten someone to death yet?
Ralphie's already dead. That happened last season.
Come on, he beat that little girl to death.
I know he did, but like I did think it was funny how he went out there, he beat her to death, and then he goes in there and he's just soaking his hand in the ice bucket, and then like they're asking what happened. He's like, she tripped, and they walk over and like all her bones are broken and her head's concussed, like still like bleeding out. She tripped, and it's like no, she clearly didn't trip, Ralphie. But yeah, he was an interesting character. Fucking Tony's sister just gets attached to anyone who will throw her even a side glance. And then, you know, now she's religious now. My favorite character as far as likability is Bobby Bagliari. He's so nice. Even when he's being like Mr. Intimidating, it's like, well, he's clearly trying to intimidate them so that they don't get hurt instead of intimidating.
Vote for him? I'd rather have a bullet here, here, and here.
Yeah, I like that. And then I also liked how they're talking about like they're like, oh, all the women sitting around like, oh, did you hear they were they used to make fun of Bobby for being the only one who didn't have a guma, and they would laugh at him. And it was like when it was really, really heartbreaking when he lost his wife. That's probably the saddest part of the series by far, is watching him. You know, who seems like one of the few genuinely good guys in this racket.
Oh yeah, and it's Syl's wife who's talking about that his lack of a Gumar. She's like, Syl was on the phone with somebody, and they were laughing about how he was the only one that didn't have a Gumar, and Carmela's like, who is he on the phone with? And then they like get interrupted, but you know it's Tony. You know it was Syl and Tony fucking laughing at him for not having a Gumar.
A Gumar is a mistress. I think maybe not everyone knows.
Yeah. It's a great show. One of the best shows ever made. Love it.
I'm loving it. I'm bummed that I've only got 2 seasons left to get through now.
They're good seasons. Stuff gets to moving.
3 was the weakest for me so far.
3 was the weakest.
The last one could be the best. You know, the last 2, like it doesn't end weak like so many shows.
I think season 5 is my favorite. Okay. I like Steve Buscemi hasn't come on yet, right?
Literally the beginning of this episode, it showed the image of Steve Buscemi,
and
then being like, he used to be good looking, and then like now
he was so handsome. Cool. So, he's just a cool. Yeah, you're right.
He hasn't made an appearance yet, but I did notice like a couple episodes earlier in the series, he'd be like, directed by Buscemi. Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's good. He's a main character. He's gonna be a main character coming up. Like he's gonna be there all the time.
It's not a spoiler to say this, I think, but towards the end of the thing, Tony goes to war, you know, with the New York boys, and something about that, it just feels very high stakes to me, which is why I enjoyed those seasons.
Yeah, I like when he's got that fucking
thing, like Tony beat up a guy for hitting on his daughter. You saw that already, right?
No. Yes. No. Well, that's it. Or no. I saw him yell at Jamal Ginsburg.
That's the final season.
It's okay. Well, incidents like that are a one-off. The things that build and become like very consequential, that makes a show good to me.
Yeah, Coco.
The Kyle, you were saying when I was texting our group chat, because I've been just sending stuff when I'm seeing certain episodes. Really, one of my top episodes so far is when Paulie and Chris get stuck out in the wilderness.
Pine Barrens. The name of that episode is the Pine Barrens.
And they get stuck out there, and they don't realize that the Russian guy they're fucking with is the most hardcore guy they've come across in the entire series so far.
Mhm.
And he just, without shoes on, just beats both of them up and runs away. And like Tony calls him and is like, "This guy was part of the interior ministry. He killed 16 Chechen officials all by himself." And then Paulie gets off the phone and he goes, "Chrissy, you're not going to believe this. This guy killed 17 Czechoslovakians. He was an interior decorator."
And Chrissy goes, "Really? His house looked like shit."
Shit. Yeah, that was a really good one. I like that. And them fighting, and then they're eating fucking condiments in there, and they're like squeezing mayo into his mouth. Paulie's like, mix it with the relish. Yes,
Paulie's got Tic Tacs. He's not sharing.
I already finished them all. Yeah, just like, you've had Tic Tacs the whole time. Like, freaking out.
They've lost their lighters. Like they can't even light up a cigarette.
He was like, 4 years in the army. I'll get this back. And then they just walk in a huge circle, sitting there. Give me some of that carpet. And then of course, Bobby Bagliari is the one who actually knows how to save him and is like goofy. And Tony laughs at him because he's wearing his hunter's vest and everything. And then once they get out there, the only person prepared for it is Bobby, as Tony's fucking shivering in his leather jacket. Yeah, it's such a good show. You're right. That's one of my best episodes. One of the best episodes so far.
Yeah, definitely my favorite.
So, yeah,
really. Did you see the second Rick and Morty, Kyle?
No, I don't know how to watch it. Like, you've got it on Plex or something, huh?
People say
okay.
That.
Well, so I got to wait for them to release it because like I purchased the season, but it still doesn't come to me for like a day or two. I'll check later if it's up or not.
Better than the first, but I'm not as pulled into the series as I was in the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or the first 3. Yeah, I'll check it out.
This is season 4, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Even last season, I didn't want to admit that I felt like it had declined a bit, but I think it had.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I kept checking it, and it like opens up the Cartoon Network app, and I have to have like a cable subscription to like get that to give me the Cartoon Network, and I'm just like, what the fuck? What is this 2004 fucking ad wall bullshit?
Yeah. And then I don't know. Good stuff. I've been streaming, having a good time. Still playing Tarkov.
How are you feeling with that? Are you starting to lose the desire to play, like getting over that hump, or are you still enjoying it a lot?
So I would say that I'm not like full on addicted, wake up every 2 hours to set off another scav run to make money anymore. Now I'm a bit more casual, just enjoying the game. And there's so much to learn. And so now that's kind of where it is. Because there's a wipe coming up and my character will be reset, the only thing that doesn't get reset is me, right? The wetware behind the keyboard. So I'm playing maps I'm not that experienced in, so that next wipe, I don't have weak maps. I'm using different guns and building more guns on my own and just, developing, like plugging holes so that I can hit the ground being a strong player next wipe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the wipe. I've been playing a bunch of Total War Warhammer 2. There's a new DLC coming out for that very soon.
Are you doing any campaign stuff? Like, do you ever do the story mode?
Absolutely
That's fun.
No, I like playing against a human being.
I mean, I just mean like, because you like stuff where you're managing resources like Civ, like it. You still get to
against another player though.
Okay, fair enough. It's really, really hard if you ever give it a go. Like playing on even normal difficulty with some of those factions is incredibly hard to win.
Do you learn stuff that helps you in the other mode?
Not.
No.
It's different because like
you'll learn how to move things around a little bit, but like it's like anything else. Like the gun that was good in campaign isn't going to be great in multiplayer. Like multiplayer is a whole other beast where these people have spent thousands and thousands of hours developing a meta, and that meta shifts, and they are like lickety split, like learning the new meta and how to be the best they can be. And there's no optimal build because it's a little bit like paper, rock, scissors.
Exactly.
So like I might win this game against you, and you can alter your army just a little bit, and you'll win next game.
So like the way Kyle's playing it is like, there's 100 factions you can choose from, and a lot of them are like sub factions.
Like there's 16 main factions, I believe, and each has 3 or 4 sub factions of it, which is kind of irrelevant for the most part. For the most part, there's 16 main ones where it's like, oh yeah, I see the difference between this and that, because it's like high elves and lizard men. You quickly can tell the difference between lizard men and high elves, and then there's zombies,
the Skaven, the vampires,
rat people,
all of them.
All 16 viable, or are there like 4 that everyone agrees are the best?
If you're good, you can win with anyone. It depends on the skill level of your opponent, really. But if we're evenly matched, then you're probably going to want to pick one of like 6 or 8 factions.
That's still a lot.
It's very well balanced. Like they're constantly tweaking little things about characters and little things about units, all the time.
Something I do. So the way Kyle's playing it is, it'll be like him and some other guys sitting in the lobby, and you obviously can't see what the other guy's building in his army, because that's not fair before the battle. And you get like $8,000 or whatever, and you get to purchase your general if you want any mounts on your general, and then spend on your units. Obviously the better the unit, the more expensive it's going to be, and you try and build a well balanced one. Or if Kyle's playing, let's say if Kyle knows, they're playing the wood elves, they're going to be all ranged. Well, I need something to combat that. And because wood elves can fire on the move, I need some pretty quick units that can flank around and fuck them up, so I can't get, harassed by, what are they, green wood elves?
Way Watchers.
The Way Watchers the whole time. And so like that's how that is. The multiplayer, something that does help you get better at battling in the campaign is like, because you're so strapped for resources, you have to learn to battle with not your choice of units. So if it's like, if I'm playing as the Tomb Kings, which is like the mummy people, the skeletons, and the Egyptian theme, then it's like, oh well, fuck, I really want the Tomb Guards, but I can't swing that because I don't have enough provinces locked down. I don't have enough money to afford it. My upkeep isn't good. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do it with just spearmen for now. And so it makes you kind of manipulate your army and figure it out. So I like that part of it, and the diplomacy aspect. I like the Lizardmen. I think are the most fun campaign, because if you play that right with Mazda Mundi, you can pretty much build your diplomatic relationship with all the other Lizardmen quickly, to the point that they'll all come to you and be like, "You're in charge, boss man. Here's everything," and that's pretty nice.
Yeah, you can play the game however you want. As far as multiplayer, like you could do this thing where you have like 3 really expensive cannons, and then you just try to protect them with like a box of like heavy duty infantry, and you're just trying to do as much damage with those cannons before the enemy can get to you as possible.
Dwarf style.
Yeah, or you could have everything in your army be fast and on horses, but with like they shoot arrows from horses, so they're just harassing the enemy continuously. They just run in, shoot you, and then run away. And your army, which started out as like, it looks like if you watch enough medieval movies and stuff like that, how you have these spears up front, like archers, and the archers will step forward and the generals back there. It's just like that.
Yeah.
So cool. Like an army that's set up like that, you just pull them apart, because they try to chase your horses over here and to the left, to the right, behind, and front, and they get scattered, and then you just divide and conquer. It's really fun, and people hate it.
There was one campaign I was doing with Shaggoth, the dragon ogre.
Sun Eater.
Yes. Kolek, the Sun Eater, whatever his name is. And he's just this giant dragon ogre with a hammer. He's 10 times the size of every other unit on the battlefield, and all of his moves are incredible. You can just charge him into any group of even like spearmen and just let him fuck up for a little bit, run away, heal. But I figured out that you play campaign with Kolek, and the rating of it is hard. But if you stay up there in the north and fuck all the Norsika for a while and tech and upgrade, you can get it so that the cost of a unit of dragon ogres in Kolek's army is 0, and the upkeep is 0 if you upgrade everything. And so I had a full stack of just him and 19 dragon ogre units with 0 upkeep, all maxed out. And there is not an army in the game that can handle that.
No.
And it's so much fun, because you charge in, and it's just you lower the camera down, and you go to your opponent's view, and you could just see all these monstrous animals with hammers running towards them, and then you could hit slow motion and you see him smashing them out like the witch, or the like Sauron in the beginning of the first Lord of the Rings. It's the combat is sick in that game. It's really cool.
By the way, just so you know, Woody, this is what the character looks like. just absurd.
Yeah, that's when that guy's your general.
He has 4
Everybody
legs.
in the
It's hard
army
to
is
tell.
confident as shit.
It's hard to tell, but he has 4 legs and a giant tail.
Yeah,
He looks like
and
a
it's not
problem.
even that. Yeah, it's not
He's
even
a real problem.
like, and you can upgrade him so well. It's like, do you want him to be the toughest guy in the game, or do you want him to be able to summon lightning from 1,000 yards away? And it's like, both, all of it. And so you can really fuck people up with that guy. Yeah, really.
Yeah,
cool
that game's
game.
fun. People get real pissy when you. My friends do. I shouldn't say that. It's quite the opposite when you're just playing randoms online. You get tons of GGs and good luck, have fun. I've never had anybody talk shit ever online. Everybody's very polite and very They'll stomp my asshole in and be like, "Good game, buddy. Nice meeting you." And I'm just like, I would not have been so kind if I had done that to you.
Do you have a faction like your go-to right now?
I'm great at dwarves. I'm pretty fucking good at dark elves, and lizardmen is probably my best.
Yeah, when I played, I liked Lizardmen the most. A lot of the decisions I made in that game are aesthetic, where it's like, man, the Lizardmen look sick, the Skaven look cool. The Skaven are a little harder to work because there's something called leadership in the game, Woody. So like, if a unit is getting their asshole pushed in, their leadership's going to drop and they'll rout. And when you know it, the Skaven, the rat people, have horrible leadership. Meanwhile, the dwarves, like an entire dwarf unit, but one guy can get massacred, and that one dwarf will be like, "Hold the line!" And the dwarfs never rout and run away, which is great.
Yeah.
Like, but last time I got into it, the meta was like what you said. Dwarves have such good machinery, and then their guys can withstand charges so well. You basically just say, "Fuck you, you come to me" with the dwarves, because you don't want to pursue them with dwarves. You're too slow.
Are there a bunch of Legolases you can play with who just
that's
dance
high
on
elves.
Wood
rocks
elves,
to rocks
yeah.
and
High elves
they
are
have
wood elves, yeah.
amazing archery?
Yeah, that's the high
Mhm.
elves and the dark elves both have like crazy archery, and they're like, they look like Legolas. They're all beautiful. Yeah.
I like the Beastmen's. They're fun to play. They're a little tough because their armor's so low, but their attack is so good. But their siege unit, the Cygor, it's just a giant that throws rocks farther than like any
Cyclops.
catapult in the game. And so like sometimes it's fun to make armies with weird builds. So like drop every dime you have into nothing but Minotaurs. So they have 10 times as many units as you, but you've got cool ass Minotaurs charging across the field. And with units like that, you can sometimes win just by lowering their leadership and what is it? Terror?
What's
inspiring
the high
terror?
elf boss character? I can't imagine it.
Like their lord.
Okay.
They have a few Turin. You pick a general for your army, and out of a list of there's like 6 or 8 generals for each faction. And for the high elves, the meta general would either be Teclis, who's like more of a he's decent at melee, but he's mostly just like a really good wizard, or Turin. I think
is he big and strong? Is there like an alpha elf, or is he just a little better at?
Well, there's like like
well,
if
he's
you
not
want to,
big. He's just riding a horse with a magical fucking sword and just beating the shit out of everything.
Okay.
but it's like, you can get Turin or whatever his name is for 1,500 points, and he's really, really good. Or if you want a heavier army build and like just a more basic general, you can just get like Elven General for 800 points,
This
and he's not going to get
old,
much benefit.
right? Warhammer, the one you.
Well, this is Warhammer
years.
2. It came out like maybe 2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
and Warhammer 3. Warhammer 3 is just around the corner.
In my head, it was 8 years old. I thought it was older.
It's a really
it's based
cool
on a tabletop game, so it's very old. And so because of that, they have all of this backstory to draw from. And so it's just like anything else. It'd be like basing a game on something like Lord of the Rings, where it's just like, oh yeah, all these rules are already established. All of these generals and different kinds of units are just part of this lore, and they pull from that lore and throw it into a video game that's incredibly well balanced. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, the campaign, you give it a go at one point, Kyle, just a couple turns. You'll like the flavor of it is good. No matter what team you pick, it's fun to pick the bad guys. There's like this old man, like the intro character, who kind of narrates everything, and he's got like a crook of a cane, and his eyes have that like blind dog thing. And no matter who you are, like if you play Kolek, for example, be like, "My lord Kolek of the Dragon Ogres, for too long the free men of the world have engaged in their trade without payment to the dark. You will storm over them and destroy everything in your path. And it's like,
I've done
yeah,
it a
I'm
little
gonna
bit.
do that. Yeah, I'm gonna storm over them. I'm gonna fuck them up. And then
I've
and then
done
when
a
you're the
little
bad
bit.
guys, like you can scare the shit out of other factions, and like, you know, Tyrion, the high elf, will be like,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's
he'll be
Tyrion,
like,
not Tyrion.
ah, you savages know not to come into my land, but please accept my peace offering. And then you can say, fuck you, no. And then they'll be arrogant and be like, well, then try and take my capital. And then you take their capital, and they'll be like, I'm still not afraid. And then you can it's a lot of fun.
That's how the AI is in Civilization 2. Like in Civilization 5, like you'll just beat the shit. They'll be talking so much shit. Like
Yeah.
we hate you, we hate your people, you're garbage. We're gonna do something about you, and they'll declare war, and you'll just push their shit in until they've just got one tiny little city left in the corner of the map, and they'll be like, "Hey, about that war, whoops, my bad. Can we be friends?" And you'll be like, "Yeah, we'll be friends for 10 turns. 10 turns will pass, and they'll be like, we're getting tired of your shit again." And you're like, "Really? What the fuck? Do I have to move everything back over there? I just got everything back from beating your ass."
Yeah,
The
that
AI
can
is
be a pain in
silly.
the ass. But when you're going into battle with a full stack of dragon ogres, there's no army in the game that can stop you. The power slivers is like your side's this and theirs is that, even if they're a full stack of good shit. You just that part's nice, building
great
really
game.
elite armies.
I like it a lot. I've got 3 or 4 guys that play it, and we do a lot of 1v1s and a few 2v2s.
Do you do any siege stuff? I always thought siege stuff was fun.
We've done some siege stuff. I don't care for it.
Yeah, I remember you didn't like it that much.
It's
more
not
fun
that-
to defend than attack.
I don't like doing it at all. It's just not that well balanced.
True. Yeah, those
I mean,
towers,
it's not
you have
that
to turn those
it
towers way
is
down.
balanced. They give the attacking armor more gold. It's just that, like, I don't know, that's not how like competitive Total War is played. So I just try to stay away from it.
Fair enough. Yeah, it'd be fun to play. Or no, we did. I think you and I in Total War Warhammer 1, we got into a modded Helm's Deep lobby a couple times and played that.
Oh, is that
Back
what
in the
that game
day,
was
that
we were
was-
playing?
I think it was the first Total War Warhammer, because that was a bunch of fun. It was
No,
a really cool custom map.
it was something else we were playing where it was this custom map that I found. I don't remember what that was. That Age of Mythology I don't know what we were playing.
Oh,
but
no,
I
you're
found,
right. That was Age of Mythology. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. It was Helm's Deep. How did they mod Age of Mythology to make it fucking Helm's Deep, you know?
I don't know, but they even modded it to the point that, like, at one point in the battle, there's a runner, and if you don't kill that runner, then
He blows up the wall.
he blows it up. And it was like our third time playing. It was like, take the runner, take the run. Fuck again. Is there no way to stop him?
I don't
And
think there
then
is.
I think we figured out near the end. It's like, oh no, it's meant to play out like the movie. You can't kill that guy, because if you did kill that guy, it'd be a tremendously easy battle.
Yeah.
So fun times.
A good
Yeah,
movie.
I need to play some AOM again. That's a good game. So yeah, I'm enjoying games.
Taylor's. So.
Yeah.
So, how about that COVID thing?
How about the virus, huh? How's everybody doing with the quarantine?
I got to piss. You work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About the virus, I don't know what the right thing is, but my Facebook's going bonkers. I will
Over the virus still?
There is a strong correlation between people who believe this entire virus is a hoax and a certain faction of the Republican wing that did poorly in high school science. Like, those two are linked up exactly. And I don't even know that they're wrong. But I would like a little humility, the kind that I just displayed, in the confidence of their opinions. These guys have watched Plandemic on YouTube about this like discredited anti-vax person who's just cocksure that this COVID thing is a big hoax and that Fauci is a scam artist, liar, and more and more and more.
Yeah, I don't think it's a hoax. I think, like, I don't know. It feels like everybody tries to put you 100% in one camp, where it's like, oh, you don't think that people should be able to go back to work just because they can't put food on their family's table? And it's like, well, no. And it's like, you want people to die? It's like, well, I mean, come on. Like, you can acknowledge how bad this is, and then also say, hey, there are people out there that really need to get back to work. It's live or die situations for them right now. Like, it's rough. But also, like, you can also say, yeah, of course the government is going to steal freedoms from us given a pandemic. They always do that. They always take advantage of things like that to do, like, Doesn't matter who's in power. The government's always going to do that. And they're not going to slow trickle back those freedoms. It's going to be the Patriot Act again.
I can't recall any freedoms being trickled back to us. Not in my lifetime. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. To me, there's this balance. Okay. If you're only interested in health, like many of the doctors and virologists and epidemiologists, whatever they're called, like the guys who are epidemiologists, whatever they are, they're only focused on the health side. Of course, they want everyone to stay quarantined forever. They're not economy concerned. And then there are other people who are economy concerned who don't give a fuck about your health, who will gladly sacrifice 10% of their staff if they could make more money off of it. And then there's many of us somewhere in the middle who's like, I understand the concerns of the economy. That's not nothing, like
true.
A strong economy is what leads to a strong healthcare system and a strong military and roads without potholes and all that other stuff that we enjoy. So that's important. And so is staying alive or not having chronic respiratory issues for the rest of your life or whatever. Organ failure, let's stay off dialysis. I don't even know that's a thing. But anyway, so yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know what the balance is.
I'm sure it'll take time like everything.
With the people who sucked at high school science, who think that this thing is a big old conspiracy theory. Every virologist in the country is trying to convince me there's a pandemic, and there's really not.
Yeah, it's the 5G. I need to look into that conspiracy. That could be a good one. I don't understand that at all. Most countries don't even have 5G.
Yeah, we're just rolling it out right now, right about the same time as the murder hornets and the COVID. So it's got to be related.
Yeah, those, they didn't contain that virus. They better contain those fucking bees.
Well,
come on,
wasps, but
even worse, the worst kind of bee.
Well, I don't know much about bees, but that sounds right.
They're not bees.
Do wasps make honey? No,
they probably got something else that's really tasty.
Maybe they make something else tasty.
Yeah,
wasps do not make honey, Charlie.
What a ridiculous name. They call them murder hornets. They don't. I mean, they sting people, but it's no more serious than like if a fucking
aren't they
regular
hornet? Am I right about that part?
There's some big ass bugs.
So are Japanese hornets. Hornets are big.
Oh, I thought that's what they were. I thought they were just calling them murder hornets because they were those Japanese.
This is some other kind of fucking hornet that massacres honeybees.
For the first few days I learned about murder hornets, I thought they were a joke. Just a meme that people were like, don't go outside. There's murder hornets. LOL. As in like they wanted you to stay inside for the quarantine and they were pretending that there were murder hornets outside. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Murder hornets are real? I'm going to double check this whole unicorn thing because that seems plausible too. Like they're just
everyone on Earth would pick COVID over a murder hornet global infestation. It's like, do you want this global pandemic or do you want scary bugs? Like, think of how many people would break quarantine if there were murder hornets outside. Even people's yards would be out of control. Like, I'm not mowing.
I know. Yeah.
It's funny.
Murder hornets didn't even sound real. It seemed like a goof. Come on, murder hornets. That's a joke name.
How many does it take to kill you? How many stings?
It would, if you're not allergic, probably hundreds.
But they travel in in swarms of thousands, probably, right?
No, they don't travel. They're in a nest somewhere.
Well, then what are we afraid of?
They massacre honeybee colonies.
Yeah, but if it's doing that over there,
they're here.
Where are they actually? I for some reason I think they're just.
I think they ended up in Canada and now they're in the northern, continental U.S.
Oh, well, I'm sure they won't come down south. Bugs don't seem to like it here. Oh wait, bugs love it here.
Yeah, bugs hate humidity.
I remember when I bought my house. I moved to North Carolina for the first time. Right, this is in Apex, and there was a bunch of logs like on the ground where the trees are. And my real estate agent was like, "Yeah, you don't really need to do anything about those if you don't want to." And I'm like they're kind of like they're unsightly or whatever. He's like, "This is the South. You leave something on the ground for 2-3 years, it's just gone now. It rots. It's whatever." And he was pretty much right. I don't know, got covered with leaves, and if you step on them, they like smush. And you leave shit on the ground around here, and bugs and nature take it over.
I grilled this past weekend. Outside on my porch, and I forgot to put the grill cover back on, and I went out earlier today to throw the grill cover on because I think we might get rain. And I picked it up off my patio, and a wolf spider the size of my palm crawled out. And it was like, have you ever stepped on a spider so big it almost pushed back? Because that's what it was like.
No,
not today. Yeah. And so, yeah, he's made a stain. It was such a big spider. So, I hate that.
We get in the fall, the wolf starters, I guess that's their breeding time or something. And there'll be like one in the pool on the surface. And I'm like, oh, look, this is an extra big wolf spider. Poor thing. And I go to splash it like onto the concrete near the pool. The first time, its 1,000 babies ran in every direction. Like, that's why it was big. It was a mommy spider with like maybe 500 without exaggeration. They just run in every direction. I'm like, oh my God, this is a serious problem. Yeah.
Here's Jackie, get the raid. Yeah.
Well, wolf spiders are your friend. We keep them around. We like wolf spiders.
Well, it spooked me.
It kills the it's recluse, right? It kills the recluses.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, I will not abide a spider to live that close to my home.
Yeah, if it's the size of your palm, it might kill your dog.
Yeah, I mean, there was like I brought Teddy in the other day as he was taking a shit because there was a hawk circling around my backyard, clearly looking at him.
Yeah,
and I was like, there's no way that hawk can carry away an 11.5-pound dog, but he can fuck it up. Like, he could talon my little pup to death easy.
We have a pair of like mated hawks that live in my yard, and every so often kittens are born, just like 3 kittens or something in the neighborhood, and they never make it. Never. I've never seen any of these kittens turn into cats. Jesus. And I'm pretty sure that the hawks are just like, oh, thank you. Thank you for making more lunch.
Yes. That's a circle of life, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks yummy, Kyle.
I made red curry. I ordered those dried chilies from Thailand, and then I bought a bottle of the Last Dab hot sauce. It's the hottest hot sauce in the world. And I made that chicken and spinach curry. So fucking good.
Did you put any of your homemade hot sauce in it?
I threw that shit away. It looked toxic.
Really?
Yeah. I was frightened of it. I tasted it. It was okay. And then I poured it all out and ordered a bottle of hot sauce.
What was what was concerning you about it being toxic?
I didn't like the taste. I didn't think it was actually toxic. It was just like this split pea soup green that I didn't care for. I should have used. They didn't have red Anaheim peppers that day, so I went with green peppers, and it was just ugly, and I didn't like it.
Well, you know, that's just your first try. Next time you get a little knowledge going.
Well, I got a bottle of the Last Dab now, so I'll never need hot sauce again. Like, a jalapeno is about 5,000 Scoville, and this bottle is 2 million.
So what do you do with it? Just add like a little drop into soups you make?
He starts forest fires with it. That's what he does.
I put a teaspoon in an entire dish, and that makes the whole thing crazy, crazy hot.
Too hot for most people?
Yeah. I mean, I'm crying and blowing my nose throughout eating dinner.
Yeah, but you get that nice post-hot meal clean breath, you know?
I don't know about that, but I like spicy shit. And whenever I order Thai food, I say, yes, Thai hot. Oh, you sure? You sure, Whitey? Yes, Thai hot. And this is definitely Thai hot.
If I'm brave, I'll order white person hot. And
I feel you.
I kind of like that they work with you. They're like, all right, white person hot. I got you, customer. You know, we want you to come back again. We're all on the same team here.
That'd be funny, like a white guy restaurant, whatever it is. Like, instead of that, they're like asking someone who's not white, like, do you want regular dairy or do you want a white person amount of dairy? And it's like, oh no, not that much dairy. Make me sick. Well, certainly the white person amount of dairy, a little extra if you wouldn't mind, sir. I'm just out with my wife. We've had a stressful week. I got laid off because of the quarantine. I've been furloughed. Just need to forget my troubles in some heavy whipping cream.
Jesus. Taylor paints a sad picture.
Yeah.
Call it a wrap?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
PKN $2.99.